Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Moorish Monday with Abdullah Il Talib Mosi Bey. I'm so excited. On Magnus Crystal Pismet YouTube, I want to always give a shout out to Brother Hank for offering this platform to me for, and been a year and a half now. And I have a wonderful guest with us tonight. This has been a rescheduled from 2 weeks ago. Don't forget to hit the like button. Let people know that we're live. We're live and direct. Bring other people on. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And we're going to get started. So I have with me tonight Dr. Powin, Z Amu, MHD. If I, Bob, you're going to give us the
I'm going to help you out with it.
correct
Yes,
Help
sir.
me out,
Yes,
please.
sir.
Thank you. Yes,
It's
so I want you to.
It's pronounced Powin Shi Amaru.
She. That's right.
She.
She.
The XI is the she sound.
She sound. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dr.
We're
Power
gonna have
She
a great
Amu.
time.
Yes,
We're
we
gonna have
are.
a great time.
He's going to be doing a book review
I'm gonna
on
talk
my
about
book,
the book tonight.
The Masonic Compass Square. Yes. So
Yes,
start off by
yes.
tell us a little bit about yourself, Doctor.
Well, again, my name is Powin Shi Amaru. I am I am. It's hard to start talking about yourself, brother. You make it kind of difficult. I'm not a person that's used to talking about myself a lot.
I understand. This is
Um,
just the standard I do want to have the audience to get the
yes,
chance to
sir.
know you before we get into the topic.
Yes, sir. I am a life student of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his teachings, and I put that out front because he was the basis for my research in everything that I've done in dealing with cosmology, in dealing with astrotheology, in dealing with astronomy, and really in actually purchasing your book, this book right here, which is a wonderful text. You're gonna be remiss in your duty, brothers and sisters, if you don't get this book, especially if you're a student of the mysteries, whether that be Masonic, Rosicrucian, whether that be Moorish Science or Nation of Islam, or any of the organizations that we affiliate ourselves with that deal with the deeper sciences. If you really want to understand those sciences, this is the reference material that really helps me to do my calculations. And if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you'll see my calculations pretty much every other day. I do one. And I wanted to start off by saying that. However, as a student of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I I remember his words and in his writings where he taught us that astronomy is the sum total of what he gave us. He didn't say astrology. He said astronomy. And that is very important. So, Powhatan Shia Maru, I am a student of cosmology. I learned cosmology, the study of cosmology through the Aboriginal Republic of North America, through the cosmology program there, coupled with the sciences that I had learned as a student of the Masonic Order. I am a Mason, a Master Mason, and also I am also a 32nd degree Scottish Rite Freemason, and I'm also a Shriner. So those organizations, those help me to understand deeper understandings of the universe, and that's my purpose, to have a better understanding of how the function of the universe operates. Not only for other people, but really it satisfies me. It satisfies my soul. It really warms my soul to be able to walk out in my yard, brother, and look up in the sky and read the Quran. In the first revelation in the Quran to Muhammad, peace be upon him, is Iqra. Ikra. It's the first thing that he's instructed to do is to read. Read in the name of thy Lord. This is the first thing. And so as we, as students, whatever we're studying, that's where it starts at, with reading. Books, but then books will lead us to bigger fields of reading. You know, I see as in this field that I'm in, this spiritual field, and as I developed a school, and it's called the Temple of the Asiatic Magi. And in this school, it is a really a culmination of my life practices, in the esoteric sciences. And so in our school, we teach cosmology. I teach the different versions of the card system that I calculate the earth with. We teach different versions of that, different understandings of the actual cards, the actual symbols on the card, because it's about the symbols and how we read those symbols, and understanding that a simple deck of cards is truly a calendar in and of itself. It's 365 days concealed into that deck of 52 cards. And when we do our calculations, our ancestors left that for us. You know, our Moorish ancestors left that for us. Our Shi ancestors left that for us. Our Kemetic ancestors left these sciences for us. And when I say left, I mean there were aspects of all these schools of thought woven into everything that you hear today. Do you hear me talk about? There will be aspects that I've drawn from different schools of thought over periods of time. One of my colleagues a few years ago, he asked me why did I my name change, you know, as I was known many years ago as Minister Angelo X in Atlantic City, New Jersey, when I was a fresh minister in the nation. And then later I became Muhammad, Angelo Muhammad. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan allowed me to wear that name in the nation, which we have to have permission to wear these names in that organization. But then once I wasn't in the mosque anymore, if you would say, I would never say that I left the nation, but I'm no longer in a functioning mosque. I operate outside of the mosque. And now I have other titles that I've used over time as I went through different schools of thought. And that's hard for some people to understand. They say it keeps changing. But if we really study our history, if we really study our people, this is how we learn. This is how we grew. A name is not who you are, it's who you are to become. When we talk about the words of power that they spoke in the ancient days that shaped and formed creation, these words of power created what we see in front of us. It was vibrational sound utterances coming from the human vocal cords that call things into existence. And so when you call yourself Abdullah El Talib Moshi Bey, wow. I mean, you're not that. That's what you're striving to become. Powhatan Shi Amaru Muhammad. Man, my back would be bent over to carry such weight. But the truth is, that's what I'm hoping to become. You see, Powhatan, God G, in the ancient Olmec tradition. See, the Shi, the Tutu Shi people. This is the God who taught us mathematics, who taught us science, who taught us how to read and write. So I wanted to take on those attributes, if you would, take on that spirit in my being and allow the divine to work through me and to use whatever he can or it can through this being to share with humanity, not just people not labels. I have my collar on. I just left our powwow. I literally just told Abdullah, I literally just walked in the house 10 minutes ago. And we drove up, and I was hurrying back because I had to postpone before. And I said, no, I won't have to do that again. I want to get there. So excuse me if some of my technical stuff isn't together, but I was moving. I wasn't going to be late today. But everything I have to say to you, I have it right here. Either way, we good to go. Okay. So I don't know if that's enough about me, brother. Um,
Oh yeah, that
you
was
know,
excellent, Doctor. Excellent.
yes,
Oh
sir.
man, thank you for allowing bringing this upon us. The audience is grateful for your presence, and I'm definitely grateful for your presence.
Thank you, beloved. Thank you.
So those who are just joining us, this is Dr. Powerton. He will be presenting the book review on my book, The Masonic Compass Square and the Connection to Measurement and Timekeeping.
That's right.
Um, don't forget to hit that like button. Let people know that we're on, you know,
That's right.
and
Let people
subscribe
know
if
that.
you haven't done so already.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
you have a floor, Doctor.
Well, I wanted to go into something here that I saw in your work that I wrote out. Is that okay with you?
And then real quick, to those, if you're interested in getting the book, the website is will be strolling across the screen, mooresandmasonry.org.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. And however you want to do it, Doctor.
And let me share this with you because someone in one of your posts, someone was saying that they had some time getting the book. Listen, I don't know about that person, but I've ordered 2 or 3 books from brother so far, and I've gotten them. I mean, like clockwork. There's no hesitation. This is a physical book. I've never met this brother in person. Only we talk on the phone and we communicate online. But well, I consider him a brother and a friend. Of course, we've been knowing each other for a minute now. But this is tangible. I have it in my home, and you can get it in your home and in your library and have it in your study. Okay. Let me start by this, brother Abdullah. Is that what you prefer to be called? Brother Abdullah?
That's fine. Yes.
Brother Abdullah, my first time seeing you, I was impressed. May I say that? I want to start off before I say this other part I wanted to say. I was impressed. And I was in my studies in the cosmology department in the Aboriginal Republic of North America, who is headed by Namataga Shiamaru, which I'm grateful to that brother. He's a good brother. He's my brother and friend for many years. And I'm not as active as I was in the organization, but I am still a dear friend of the brother. And I wanted to say that it was his tutelage and his urging me from knowing me many years ago to go deeper into this aspect of the study. He nudged me very, very firmly. He said, "Brother, look, you're gonna love this." And initially, in the Aboriginal public, in the Aboriginal University, I had begun to study health, food science, and understanding how to administer and heal the body, which I completed the courses there. But once I got to the cosmology aspect of healing the body, I was like, wow, this is phenomenal. And so it led me deeper into that field. And ultimately, I became the chief minister of cosmology for the Aboriginal part of Republic of North America, which I served for 2 years in that position. And now another brilliant young brother named Yogi is running that department. And I think he's young and he's brilliant and he will be able to serve our people for a very long time. My goal was to establish a vision that I had many years ago, Brother Abdullah, uh, many years ago. And that was to establish the temple of the Asiatic Magi. Initially, it started out as the Sanctuary Academy of Universal Enlightenment. Uh, when I began to leave the mosque as a formerly not being in the mosque on a consistent basis, I began to practice deeper into Tasawwuf, what is called Sufism in the West. And in my study of Tasawwuf and understanding of Tasawwuf, I took bayah with a sheikh, Hashim Kabani, under the Naqshbandi tradition. And in that tradition, it led me deeper and deeper into the, and this was many years ago, into the cosmetic and the cosmology and the astro theology and astrophysics and many aspects of things that many of us talk about, but we don't. I noticed that we can word things, but we have to put it into practice. I'm not about negative conversation. So I just want to see our people, when we mention something, I want us to begin to put those things that we think about and we talk about in our history, bring them into this time. Don't leave it a dead letter scripture. Make yourself the living word. And that was my goal, beloved, to make myself the living word. In our sacred supreme wisdom, there's a lesson that says, have you learned that your word shall be bond, regardless to whom or what? And the reply is, yes, my word is bond, and bond is life, and I shall give my life before my word shall fail. When I took that oath, I took it to heart. I made it. It's serious to me. And when I say take it to heart, there's something that you're learning when you continue your studies. There's a brain-heart cohesion. Brain-heart cohesion. Actually, the heart sends more messages to the brain than the brain does to the heart. These two organs work in conjunction with each other. You know, we think with our brain, but the heart thinks too. You know, and so I say that to say, when you're studying, put your heart into it. Put your heart into it. Learn it. Master Farad Muhammad, the great Mahdi, said, learn it by heart. Learn it by heart. So when I hear Brother Abdullah speak, it's by heart. It flows through this brother naturally. I was going to say earlier, it was Sister Zodiac's ill. Her video, a phenomenal video she did. You know, may Allah be pleased with her. I know the sister passed.
Yes.
She is an ancestor now. And we're
Yes.
grateful to have her as an ancestor, of course. But that video, brother, you introduced her in that video many years ago, and I saw it and I was like, that brother's pretty sharp. Let me see who he is. And then I started looking at the etymology pieces, you see? And you know, I don't know if you know this, but the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us he used this language. He says, you need to crack open the words. Crack open the words. See? And then when I heard you, I said, that brother's cracking open the words. You know, he's using etymology. See, etymology is defined language. But if you take a layman language and say, hey, crack it open, we understand it means to break that word open and understand its origin, to know where it came from, to know its original purpose, its original meaning, which it still carries, although we may use it colloquially today. It still has the resonance of its original context. And so when I saw that and I got a chance to meet you in person or talk to you in person, I'm very honored. I'm still honored to this day. So I wanted to share this with you though, because we're in July. We're in July and we just had the 4th of July, which they say is the Independence Day of the United States of America. In my tradition, it is the day that the Mahdi made himself known, July 4th, 1930, in our spiritual tradition in the nation. But it's also, as brother has written in this book, the Hellenical Rising of Sirius, you know, which I would not doubt in the least, knowing the founding fathers of this nation, that they were aware of this information when they decided on this day. So each year in the early days of July, a celestial mystery unfolds. The Hellenical Rising of Sirius. I think we were talking 2 days ago, and I mentioned Sirius setting because I've been watching how Sirius is responding this time of year. It's such a wonderful thing. Canis Major sets today about 6 o'clock, around 6 o'clock, And then, Sirius is in that constellation. So the brightest star in our sky, the brightest star in our sky, aligns with the sun now in Cancer, aligning with the sun in Cancer, uh, making or marking a moment of powerful energetic transmissions. This is how I approach your work, brother. It's research material for me. Because when I'm researching how this earth revolves around the sun, when I research how the earth has a wobble in it, when I research and calculate the span of this planet and how it operates, I verify that information here. This is one of my sources now for verification because of the history in this book. And I know that history is best to reward the researcher. History. This event that we're experiencing now, tonight is the 7th of July. And there's an alignment now with Sirius and our star called the sun. It's happening tonight. It's been going on for the last 3 days, but today, hopefully, since the 3rd, it's been happening for the last, 5 days now. But yes, it will be at its peak this evening. This event was revered, as brother wrote in this text, in ancient Kemet. It was revered as the new year. As the new year. It was called Wep Rinpit, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. The opening of the year. The opening of the year. A time of resurrection, renewal, and divine guidance. And divine guidance. Sirius, known as Sopdet. Sopdet to the Kemetic sages. And if I'm mispronouncing things, we all pronounce these words differently. We don't actually have the original vowel sound, so we can be patient with each other, please. In the spiritual sun, behind the sun, it is the guiding light of the great mother, or Set, or, as brother writes, Isis. Isis, whose radiance awakens the Nile, steers the life force in the earth, and quickens the spiritual senses of humanity. Now, I'm going to say this tonight, brother, those who are aware of this happening right now, as you wrote here, if you're aware of this movement in the heavens and aware of the energy, it will have a great effect on you than if you're unaware. You're still going to have an effect. But I sincerely believe that the effect of those things operating in the ecliptic above us and around us and having an impression on us is greater on us and makes us more aware when we are aware. I believe the connection is much greater. Now, in the Masonic tradition, Sirius is the blazing star, the flame of the divine intelligence, the flame of divine intelligence at the center of the temple, hidden in plain sight. Brother writes that here. Hidden in plain sight. This is an excerpt from Albert Pike's In Morals and Dogma, right? Which he affirms Sirius still glitters in our lodges. Sirius still glitters in our lodges as the blazing star. Ancient astronomers saw all the great symbols of masonry in the stars. Those who are Bible students, go and read your scripture. Genesis 1:14 tells us that the heavens are for calculations. It uses the word shamim for heavens, which is a representation of the actual physical reality and not an ethereal place where the streets are paved with gold and people got feathers on their back and flying around. This isn't real. That's never going to happen. There's no people are going to have angel wings like that, and there's no streets paved with gold. Okay, not in that context. These are the way people envision things, and they gave voice to what they envisioned. And we have to be wise today to understand that. We have to understand when someone is taking a poetic license to describe something to us, as opposed to we just repeating what we heard and taking it for fact. Hmm? So during this conjunction, I don't want to get off course. During this conjunction, the sun and Sirius rise together in the east, infusing our consciousness with messages from beyond the visible spectrum. Infusing our consciousness with messages from beyond the visible spectrum. For the Magi, I use the term, as I was developing this idea, I said Asiatic Magi. And why do I use the term Asiatic? Because we were taught under the guidance of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that Asia was once the name of this planet, and it was one landmass before the continental plates shift. And now we have different land masses, right? Or as they say, 7 continents that we can prove. I know a lot of people got some other ideas, and that's fine, but I can prove 7. And those 7 continents were once one landmass. And so he taught us that that was called Asia. And so today when we say, or when I say, I don't know what others may mean by the terminology, but I'm speaking from the way I see the terminology and the way it was taught to me. I am an Asiatic. So because I am from the beginning. You see? Magi, and you know the Magi from scripture, many of you will know the Magi from scripture who saw the star. See? Which truly was a conjunction. But they saw the star and they followed it. And then there was the baby, the story, as the story goes, the baby Jesus was in the manger. And all that has some tremendous meaning astronomically, astrologically, and cosmologically, which I won't get into all that tonight. But if you would like to hear more about that, I'm gonna give myself, as they say, a shameless plug now, brother. If you would like to hear more from that type of conversation, you can follow me at powitonshiamaru.com is my website. And I do readings. I can read your cosmology charts. I can read your moon charts based on the Picatrix, which is a system we learned from Al Brunei. I want to say a 12th century scholar who was also a magus and studied the esoteric sciences. So back to the point I was making here. During this conjunction, the sun and Sirius rise together in the east, infusing our consciousness with messages from beyond the visible spectrum. So what are those messages? Inner illumination, initiatory rebirth, cosmic remembrance. Cosmic remembrance. The Buddhists say satori. When you have a flash of knowledge and you don't know where it come from. I was taught the black man don't forget, he fails to recollect. See, we fail to recollect because as a collective consciousness, we have all the memories accessible to us. Nothing is lost. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. It only changes form. Nothing is lost. Every thought that you thought is still in the atmosphere. And if I can find the frequency from which you thought it, I can pull it out of the atmosphere right now. And so can you. And the scripture says that all the prophets will walk the earth again. How? Think on that for a few days. So it is said that during this time, the veil is thin. The veil is thin. The ancient voices of our ancestors, such as our sister that we just mentioned, zodiac is ill, especially the Magi of Saba, the Magi of Cush, the Magi of Kemet, whisper through the frequencies of light. Listen to that. Whisper through the frequencies of light. What do you mean, brother? Light has frequency? Absolutely. Sound can travel in light. Light can travel in sound. Although light is faster than sound, when we hear a word, we hear sound, right? 1,120 feet per second. And then when it goes into the mind, and then it is cracked open by a heart that has belief, that slow sound is transmuted into a speedy light. And then we have an awakening within ourselves. That is not mine. I got that from, honestly, I got that from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan many years ago. But we know from the sacred lessons that we receive that light travels at 186,000 miles per second. But sound is only 1,120 feet per second. And then we have another figure for the speed of thought. And that's much faster than light. Much faster than light. I won't even go into that now. But all of that happens through these connections. Through these connections. It's happening right now to you. You are being evolved as I speak. Yet, the more knowledge you acquire, the faster the evolution. The faster the evolution in your spiritual development. And when I say spiritual, I'm not talking about religiosity. I'm not talking about whether you go to a mosque or a masjid or a temple. I'm not talking about whether you go to I don't know, a church or a synagogue. Those things are your personal preference. How you choose to serve the divine is up to you. I don't judge that. I could care less where you go to pray. You know? I go in my heart. I have a nukta in here, in my heart. And I make salah. I raise the salah force in my being. I raise the energy in my being. You see? And I raise that energy at precise times. At precise times, Brother Abdullah. At certain times of day, there are different angels. We call angles. Angles. Brother, brothers really schooled me on some things here through reading his work. We have some beautiful angles of energy coming toward us, electromagnetic energy that's helping us to move out of the negative that's a base to this earth. That's a base to this earth. You ever notice this when you go? I'm a hiker. I love mountains. You'll see pictures of me posting mountains. You ever notice, if you ever been up in a mountain, that how clear your thoughts get?
I've never been to a mountain, brother. But
You never been to a mountain, brother? You have to go. I'll
no.
take you. I'll take you to a mountain, brother. You
All
have
right,
to go. You
that would
have
be
to
great.
go.
All
You
right,
can go with me, brother. Listen.
all right.
The higher you go up, I was in Arizona last year, this time. We went up, my wife and I, 8,000 feet. Right?
Wow.
Brother. Red stone everywhere. We were in Navajo country. I like to go to the different tribal areas. We were in Navajo country. And we went over the energy vortexes in this mountain. You can feel the vibration of the mountain come right up through your being. And if you film it, Even the film is distorted from the energy waves. You can feel it. The camera picks it up. But one thing, the mind gets super clear. You've been to the beach.
Yes.
Now, you ever go to the beach when there's a lot of people on the beach?
Yes.
It's not peaceful. It's not peaceful. It's distracting. There are women half nude. There are men half nude. There are people yelling. There are people swearing, consuming all kinds of things. All kind of folly and foolishness is going on, right? So the closer we can see physically, the closer we get to sea level, there's a difference in the way we operate than the higher we get into the mountains. Every monk you've seen lives in the mountains. Hmm? So I'm saying this to you, beloved. It's a sign for me that the higher we move up in the higher realms of thinking, in the upper levels of the mind, like in your fez, that's a vault I was taught, and under that vault, in between that space from the crown of your head to the top of your fez is where you store the wisdom, is an imagery. Am I right or wrong? In your fez, it's not tied down on the side like mine's on my fez at the Shriners Fez. No, yours is flowing 360.
Mhm.
You have the ability for your wisdom to move, to utilize your wisdom at your own free will. Just like the sun is moving, and just like the earth is moving, and all the planets are moving, but they all follow an order, and they all follow a structure. Reflections. I give this reflection to the students in my temple. I say, what is your soul receiving from the invisible realms? People say, well, oh, that's in that book. Yeah, if you look. If you're just reading the words on top of the pages, you may not see what I'm saying. But if you take the time to delve, right? Delve, go deeper than the surface. You cannot continue to skirt on the surface of wisdom. I can go down to the Susquehanna River and get a flat rock and skip it all across the right? It's skirting on the surface,
Surface.
right? But I can't see the sea life on the surface. I can't see if I go into the depth of the sea, you find newer forms of life. We can go down into that trench, the deepest space on earth, and where animals or creatures don't even have eyes anymore because they've lost the need of them. Now imagine the wisdom that if we take that and bring it to the physical level of how we study, if you continue to skirt on the surface of the knowledge, you'll only get the surface understanding, and you'll only be able to operate in a surface level. But if you really want to be an operator, I remember Brother C. Freeman L. God means what? God. He said, well, it means Governor Ordnance Department. He said that. But he also had another acronym for God. And it had something to do with order.
Yeah, a generator, operator, destroyer.
That's right. Generator, operator, destroyer. And that's what we are. And we have to be an operator. In the Masonic order, a lot of brothers discuss speculative masonry. And some people, my father-in-law is a brick mason. He built many buildings, and so he's an operative mason. In my opinion, he actually did the physical building. But when we begin to join the lodge and we study masonry and we study ancient masonry, from that perspective, we understand that these symbols all have meanings, and all those meanings have a reflection on who we are in life. When I look at the 24-inch gauge and how it teaches me how to divide my day and how to operate in my day on a day-to-day basis, man, that's a tool that I can utilize in my life. And I advise any brother who's listening, not only get this book, But if you are a member of a lodge or a temple where they're teaching this type of information, I advise you to really get past the surface, get rid of some distractions. That's what I had to do. I had to really uh, use my time wisely and eliminate some distractions in my life. And once I was able to eliminate the distractions, I could put my studies into perspective, because it's not about debating on Facebook, family. It's not about getting information and so you can beat up on another brother or another sister and drop some wisdom and you sound heavy. That's all good for a few days, family, but that gets tired. The reality is, can you change a life with this information? When I'm out in the public and little children come up to me and they ask me a question many years ago. I was with my cousin this weekend at the powwow, and he said,
I
"You
wanted to
remember
say
this?"
something before you start that because I want to connect to because you made a good point that thought. Um,
Yes, sir, brother.
I,
Go
I
ahead,
said
please.
this. I said this to a few brothers, not too long ago,
Mm-hmm.
that I don't see symbols,
Okay.
and they didn't understand that. They didn't understand that I don't see symbols.
Okay.
I said to them that I don't see this as I don't see these as symbols. So I don't see symbols.
Okay.
What I see is cosmology. When I see the
Yes.
five-pointed star, all right, I see the cosmological cycle of Venus, 5 and 8
Right.
Earth years. I see that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see symbols
Right.
because I understand the function. So
Mm-hmm.
some of them couldn't grasp it. And
Mm-hmm.
this goes to what you're saying. I just wanted to tie
Hmm.
that in to
I
they
agree.
because they on the surface and you mentioned distractions because
Mm-hmm.
they've been indoctrinated over
Mm-hmm.
and over
Mm-hmm.
and over again. Symbol, symbol,
Mm-hmm.
symbol, symbol,
Mm-hmm.
symbol.
Mm-hmm.
So I come
Yes.
along and say, I don't see symbol.
Right.
That throws them off. All
Right.
right. So
Right.
I actually
Right. I
experienced
get
that.
you. I get
You
that. I
know,
totally understand that. Because again, that lends to what I was saying earlier, though. Because if it's real, once you've studied to a certain degree, it stops being that to you. See, a symbol is a sign. And right down the block here, there's a street light, right? And if it's red, I better stop, right? But then it's gonna turn green and I can go again. See, a symbol is a sign, and it brings you to a point for you to study and see something. Once you see it, you can go, and once you go, that the symbol is no longer relevant. See, it's not as important as it was before. But if you don't know that symbol in the initiatory stage, as you grow, then you can't get to the depth. That's how I view it. For example, if I'm driving in America and I see a red stop sign, I know to stop. But if I'm in another country, sometimes they don't have words. They just have a red octagon. I know to stop because of the symbol. It's pointing to something that is not itself, but is directing us towards something that is much deeper. And it also is a veil. There's a scripture in the Biblical Codex. It says, "Thank you, Father, for keeping these things from the wise and the prudent man and revealing them unto babes." So some things are veiled for a reason. But I was going to say, one day I was walking with my cousin and we saw a little boy and he came up to us. This was many years ago, 30 years ago probably. And the little boy asked me, "What is time?" And I think he meant, "What time is it?" But he said, "What is time?" And it spawned an incredible conversation between us, right? And I'll never forget it. I'm sure he's a grown man today. I don't even know if he remembers. But my point is, when we are skirting on the surface, that's what we end up staying. We end up, and then one thing one of my pet peeves was, as I was growing in this wisdom, brother, was never to be that guy. I don't want to say, "Oh, my people used to could do this." No, 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 no. My people still can do this. I have to awaken it. It's in my genetic makeup. If I awaken it, we still doing it. Telepathy is real. We operate in this daily. Daily. I honestly, not to be weird, but I don't even turn my ringer on half the time. I don't need it because I know I don't need a vibrational ringer. I've learned to pay attention to signals, and if I act within a certain time frame on an impressive thought, boom, there it is. And I reach in the pocket in the phone. My wife is calling. Abdullah's calling. You know, so one of my friends are calling. You see, that's what we want to be. And some people are teaching us that we have to be super clean vegetarians, uh, don't speak any foul words, and meditate and drink cucumber water and all these great things. And those things aren't bad. Those things aren't bad. But those things are good, but those things aren't necessarily the requirement to reach the highest spiritual level that you want to reach. Those are steps. Hmm? Uh, there's a fellow named Ingo Swan. Ingo Swan, who is people believe him to be the most powerful psychic to ever live. Actually, some people have said he was part of uh, the Stargate program. Who was the chief? He was one of the head remote viewers for that program. I mean, this guy, he ate what he wanted to eat. He slept when he wanted to sleep. He drank what he wanted to drink, and he had these amazing abilities. Now I could go. That's just one guy I know. A ton of guys that study like this, who just live all kind of life. They eat pork, rabbits, snails, squirrels, whatever they want to eat. I'm not telling us to do that because that's against who we are. But I'm saying the requirement, the model that you set in front of yourself to achieve a goal is off a little bit. Clean up so you can be responsible with these gifts that are inherent in you. You have to be responsible with them. Whenever you read of the ancients, anytime a powerful god came on the scene and he abused his power, the other gods came together and bound his power. You cannot be abusive as you come into your god power. And this is why you go through vicissitudes. You go through changes. You have hardships. You struggle financially. You struggle economically, if you would. You struggle spiritually. You have these battles within yourself, and you wonder, why me? Why me? Why me? Because you're being made into something. If there's no challenge, if there's no friction, there's no growth. You know? All right, brother Abdullah. I'm gonna pull up my other notes I have here.
I once again, those who are just joining us, this is Dr. Powin. He is doing a book review on my book, The Masonic Complex of Square and their connection to measurement and timekeeping. To get the book, go to mooresandmasonry.org. It's been strolling across the stream for the past 52 minutes. mooresandmasonry.org, as well as any of my other books.
52 minutes. 52 cards in the deck. 52 weeks in a
And
year.
he also has the Venus book. Dr. Powin bought the Venus book.
Yes, I have
His
the
wife
Venus
is
book
the
as
Eastern
well.
Star. His wife's the
That's
Eastern
right.
Star. So he
Yes,
bought
she
the
is.
Venus. He bought how her moon and Venus rule a
That's right.
month before Mother's Day as a
Yes,
gift,
sir. I did.
as a
I
Mother's
did.
Day gift for his wife.
That brother has an incredible mind, brother. You don't forget
And,
anything.
and he wrote 2 book summaries on the Masonic Compass Square, as well
Yes, I
as the
did.
Venus book
Yes, I
that he
did.
posted on his Facebook page, and I
Yes, I did.
reposted about 6 or 7 times. In fact, I'll repost them tonight. I'll just share it, reshare it. You know, the both book summaries, very well written on my books, and I
Well,
was highly impressed. I said,
brother,
"Wow."
your books are well written. Your books are really well written, and honestly, you know, Many of the books that I read, you can't find in Barnes and Nobles. You're not going to find this
No,
book. I'm just telling you,
yeah,
you're not going to find this book in Barnes and Nobles. You're not
they
going to
won't
find
even.
this at Borders or, in your gas station. You're not going to find this book in any ordinary place. You got to get it from the brother. You got to get from one. Number one, he wrote it himself. Number two, support that brother financially by buying a book from him. So he can continue to write more books for us. All of us don't have the time to study. But the more we
That's true.
purchase, he can invest more time into putting more work together so that we can extract it and have this knowledge. I'm a new grandfather. My grandson was born. He's 2 months
Congrat-
old.
Congratulations again. I did
All
mention
praises
it
due
to you
to
before.
thank you, brother. Thank you. And I want to get this kind of this is for him. This is for him. This is for my son. This is my grandson, my daughters. This is their wisdom. I got a signed copy. You got to request that from the brother. You got to get a signed copy.
Well, if you get, yeah, I'll definitely sign all my books.
Yeah, man. You got to, brother. I mean, let me share something too with you,
Now,
brother.
Black and Nobel used to sell my books, so those who bought my books from Black and Nobel do not have a
Okay.
signed copy. So everyone doesn't
Oh,
have a
okay.
signed copy because if you bought it from Black and Nobel, Black and Nobel sold my books for like 5, 6, 7 years. No
And
longer
again,
sells my books, but yeah, but those who don't have a signed copy is because they got it from Black and Nobel.
what I tell you, my plan is to, as I shared this with you before, is to offer the book in our classes because we will be. This is a part of our study, and we will in the fall classes coming up. I will go into a deeper science of measurements, and so we will be utilizing uh, this book. I don't like to tell. I'm not a brother who like to tell everything about a book, every single page in here, because you got to buy it.
Yeah, you got. No,
You
we
got to buy
definitely
it.
we ain't
I'm
doing
not
that.
gonna tell you everything in the book. You got to buy this book.
We ain't
Cost
doing
how much
that.
this book cost me, brother? I don't even remember. This book was kind of pricey. These
Uh,
books aren't cheap.
that's the 50.
Yeah, $50. And guess what? It's worth more than $50. I would have paid. Brother Abdullah, I'd have paid 150 for this book. But I'm happy I got it for 50, right? So listen to this. You've heard of the phrase, my Masonic brethren. I'm not gonna tell no secrets, okay? So don't get bent out of shape. My Masonic brethren. 357. We hear it all the time. We hear it all the time. How many of us knew that it represented Orion, Taurus, and the Pleiades? See? How many of you really knew that? And if you were honest, you know that when we get our degrees, there's a responsibility on us as individuals, as brothers, to study and study and study. I want to say this too about the Masonic order. Because a lot of our people, man, they beat up on the Masonic order bad. But if you knew the history of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and if you knew the history of the Nation of Islam, the Lost Foundation of Islam, which was called the ATOI in 1930, these organizations had a very strong Masonic influence in when you read the writings and you see how things are set up, you can see a strong vein of Masonic influence flowing through these ideologies. So I really believe as you continue to study and see what's in these texts, uh, don't allow a word to keep you from knowledge. Some of us can have a negative idea of a word. Some people don't like the word God, so they stop. They won't read any material that says God. But we got to get beyond that because a word, this is how someone visualized. You don't know if that word was there as a stumbling block for you. Mm? They keep you from moving forward. Mm? We see Masonic. Those people do this, that, and the other. That's fine. That's fine. But when you look past the language and look at the essence, hmm, then you see something deeper. How many,
You know what? Let's stop you real quick, Doctor. I can relate to Masonic. I can relate to the word Masonic because my early, uh, going back 33 years,
mm,
where I was, it was, I was indoctrinated
mm-hmm.
that Masons were bad guys.
Right, right, right,
They keep the secrets and, you
right,
know, they all
right,
know and they keep, and they're keeping us in the dark. And the
right,
Masons and the Eastern Stars are gatekeepers. And so I can
right.
relate to what Dr. Powin's saying. So I even, when I saw one of our brothers who was Mason in the order, I was distant.
Mm-hmm.
And this is
Mm-hmm.
through indoctrination. Indoctrination.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now, Abdullah, what got you out of that indoctrination?
Yes. What
I
got you out?
began to in 2010. This is when I had the title Moors and Masonry is Taj Tariq Bey's title. That was a title for one of the newspaper articles in the of the Al Moroccan Star newspaper that we put out
Mm-hmm.
in 2001. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that was the third issue. And that was the feature article of the third issue of the Al Moroccan Star newspaper. And we had the three, these three pictures. Oh man, hold on, give me a minute. Give me a minute.
Take your time, brother. Take your time. Take your time.
Yeah, I'm back. All right,
Okay.
so these three, this was the bottom part. You see how this is?
Yes.
This the
Yes.
bottom part of the Moors and Masonry part one. This was the bottom part of the newspaper article on the first page. It was the feature article, and I had these three images, these photos on the bottom at the bottom of the page. It was called and Taj Bey. That was the article that he wrote entitled Moors and Masonry. So I had gone through about 3 or 4 different titles, and I was at Black and Nobel
Mm-hmm.
and Black and Nobel's bookstore in early part of 2010.
That's on Broad and Erie, right?
It was at that time. It was in Born Area. At that
That's
time,
right. That's
it's on
right.
South Street now. Black and Noble's on
Okay.
South Street, but at that time, it was on Born Area.
Right.
And
Right.
I was in, and I was it was in the afternoon. I had just gotten off work because I used to live in that area. I just gotten off of work. It was only 4 of us. It was only 4 people in the bookstore. It
Mm.
was Hakeem, the owner. He was at behind the counter.
Mm-hmm.
It was a couple. Hakeem was talking to a couple, and I was in the back looking at the books. And
Mm-hmm.
Hakeem, the owner of Black and Nobel, said to he wanted me to tell the couple. He was telling them about my upcoming book. This is now because I had been marketing the book, working the book for years. So he wanted to me to tell the couple the title of my book. And it was some long title that I can't remember right now. It was a long title. And
Yes, sir.
he said, Hakeem said, Abdullah, that title's too long. It's not marketable.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought about it 5 minutes. I called Taj Bey.
Mm-hmm.
I asked Taj, can I use the title Moors and Masonry?
Mm-hmm.
If I had not, Moors and Masonry, the title Moors and Masonry would have been dormant. No, it would have been dormant. Nobody would have been saying Moors and Masonry like that because it was the 2001, when Todd put the third issue out. We put that third issue out. It would have been dormant. So I kept the
Mhm.
title alive because it's the title of my book, Moors and Masonry.
That's right.
So in
That's right.
August, in August of 2010, I was working on the book. I said, you know what? I said that since I have the title, change the title to Moors and Masonry, I gotta now write a paragraph on what it is.
Hmm.
That paragraph grew into this book. That one paragraph grew into this book. The paragraph that I was writing for in Moors and Masonry about what Moors and Masonry is, it grew into
Wow.
the Masonic Compass Square, the connection, the timekeeping. And what happened
Wow.
was that I just, as Dr. Powin stated earlier, I went below the surface, meaning I
Right.
saw more. I said,
Yes,
whoa,
you
this
did.
is, I said, and that I said to myself, my brothers and sisters can't know this. This is astronomy. And so what
Mm.
I saw is that each order took a piece of our culture.
Hmm.
I said, oh man, this is deep.
Hmm.
I just, and I can't explain how I see. It's just, I see. I just go below the surface.
That's right.
And I
Sorry
and I would
about
say
that.
that etymology has helped that. I have to say
Absolutely.
etymology has helped that because
Absolutely.
in my studying, so let's give this real quick because I want to give some people some insight on how I came to be, how I came to really see. Etymology helped me a
Hmm.
lot
Yes,
because
sir.
what I did, I was like obsessed. I was just obsessed with wanting to know the meaning, the original meaning of everything, of every folklore, of every
Right.
riddle, of every
Right.
concept, of every
Right.
thought, of every
Right.
word. I was
Right.
obsessed. That helped a lot because
Yes, sir.
that forced me to really be go in, go below the surface.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it was just an everyday thing. And after a while, it just became,
It became
so
like second nature to you,
yeah,
right?
yes, yes.
It just
Second nature.
flowed, just
It just
flowed like
flowed.
second nature
Yeah,
to
I
you.
say yes,
Right. 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 I get it, brother. I get it.
yes.
It's like training the body, you know? When you training martial arts, for example, you at some point, as Bruce Lee said, I don't hit, it just hits all by itself. So that's when that second nature takes over. And I see it. You see it in your conversation. I watched you on the video the other day talking to two children on a park bench or at a carnival or something.
Yeah, that
And
was at
man,
Jackie Robinson Park on May 23rd. It was 5 days after the Moorish Political Unity Conference that we had here in Philadelphia on May 18th. It
yes,
was it
sir.
was 5 days after that. That's why I remember it, May 23rd. And
Yes, sir.
Luisa Flores had invited me to that event.
Yes, yes. And you were teaching them, brother, you know, and the individual care you gave them. It was like you were speaking to a huge crowd, but it was only a few people, and you were giving them care, and you could see in their eyes. If you watch the video, anybody listening, go back and watch it. You can see in those young people's eyes their awakening happening within themselves.
Oh, I was wrong with the date. The other video where I'm in the room, that was 5 days. The neighborhood, the other video that's below that, the neighborhood committee, the neighborhood meeting, that was 5 days after the conference. That was at Jack Robinson Park in June. That was the
In
multi
June.
that was the multicultural festival at the Jackie Robinson Park in June of last year, 2024. Sister Luisa Flores also invited me there. She also, like I said, she also invited me to the neighborhood meeting, which was in Brooklyn, New York,
Mhm.
down the street from Rutgers Park. That was the first time I ever been to Rutgers Park, the famous Rutgers Park in Brooklyn. I just
Oh,
got to
that's
get
what that
make
one
sure.
was.
Yeah, that
Okay.
was the neighborhood one. The neighborhood one. I'm actually inside
Okay.
the building. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, that's the neighborhood.
Right.
That was March. That was May 23rd, 5 days at the conference. While I'm speaking to the children, that was in Jackie Robinson Park in June at the Multicultural Festival. Both events, I was invited by Luisa Flores, who was one of the keynote speakers at the conference and on
Mm.
May 18th of last year.
Oh, that's beautiful, brother. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And we just need to get more of that going, brother. You know, this book, again, back to the book and what you've written here in all your books, actually, but the two that I have in my possession, these got to go, man. We need these in schools. If you have a homeschool program for young people, these should be part of your curriculum. It really should. These are symbols you see every day. You take your classroom to a trip to Washington D.C. You're going to see all this. You're going to see all of this, and then the children are going to have questions. You have the answers. If you're an educator, you should get it. You should get it.
Let
You
me let
really
me say
should.
this about let me say this about the Royal Ark, what they call the Royal Ark symbol. Let me say this
Go
about
ahead, brother.
this.
Mm-hmm.
One of my Masonic connections in Durham, North Carolina. This is before I put out the Masonic Conference Square book.
Mm-hmm.
After finishing Moors and Masonry Part One in
Mm-hmm.
December of 2000, after it came out in December 2016, I began working on Moors and Masonry Part Two. Got back on Moors and Masonry Part Two. So I was speaking to one of my Masonic connections in Durham, North Carolina. And so I had sent him the book cover because I had the book cover for this while I was working on Moors and Masonry Part Two. So I was marketing this while I was working on Moors and Masonry Part Two. Moors and Masonry
Mm-hmm.
Part Two was supposed to come out after Moors and Masonry Part One. The reason why this came out after Moors and Masonry Part One because my Masonic connection in Durham, North Carolina, had
Mm-hmm.
posted the book cover flyer on the Masonic Facebook page, on his Masonic Facebook page. He had
Mm-hmm.
gotten a lot of raving remarks from brothers in
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Japan,
wow. Wow.
Germany, France, England. He said, and then he called me. He said, Abdullah, and he told me that he got the raving remarks from brothers from Japan and so forth. He said, man, you should put that book out next.
Mm.
So I thought about it. I stopped working on More Automation Part 2 and got
Right.
back to working on the Masonic Conference Square book. This came out in October of 2018.
Wow.
And he also said about the Royal Ark,
Right.
he said, man, he said, I've been a Royal Ark. He said, I've been in the Royal Ark for over 20 years.
Wow.
He said, I never heard anyone give the lesson on the Royal Ark the way you did, which is in this book,
I
which
know.
is in this book,
Yes.
where I break it down of what it actually is, spherical trigonometry. I've tied it all in. And he said, man, I never heard no one ever broke down the Royal Ark the way you did. He was highly impressed.
That's right. As he should be. As he should be. It puts you, this text is going to put you in a league all by yourself. Really. Sometimes I'm talking to the brothers who are listening.
Mhm.
You won't even want to mention it. It's going to be so powerful. You're going to have to learn how to give it to them in a way that they can take it. If you study this correctly, it's not about uh, what we've been taught. It's not what you're going to learn in the temple. It's not the same there. This is the root science of what we learn. And you can see it very clearly as soon as you crack the book open. The introduction alone will enlighten you. The introduction alone will enlighten you. The ancient architects of the heavens and the earth, the Magi of Chaldea, Kemet, Hindustan. Hindustan was the name of India before they gave it this misnomer called India, which the people there did not recognize that name in the ancient days. That's a colonizer's name, much like many of the names that we carry here. Saw the night sky as a celestial arc stretching from horizon to horizon. Hmm? The 12 signs of the zodiac form the arc stones, and the keystone represented the sun, the divine revealer of all things. Brother, now, the way I just said that was veiled. Hmm? You know it was, brother. It was veiled. But to the common ear, it is not. It was information. But I veiled it because the answer's in here. And I want you to spend the $50 with the brother and go and read it. You got to. It's worth it. It's worth every bit of it. When you understand what each of these angles represent in this symbol, as he was just speaking of, he said the brother spent 20 years. 20 years. You're going to save yourself 20 years, he said. That's what I heard. You can save yourself 20 years. I mean, my daily profession, brother, I'm a salesman. You know? And in sales, what I tell people all the time, if I'm selling somebody an automobile, hey, you know what's the best thing to tell them about this car to get them to buy it? How good they look in it. You could go over the car all day and talk about, oh, it got turn signals, it's got this, it's got that. All that stuff sounds good, and most people are looking for some explanation of those things. But at the end of the day, they want to know how they're going to feel in it and how other people perceive them in it. And that's anything that we sell in life. How will it benefit me? What is it going to do for me? Everybody's not wanting to be a humble cat. They want to sport their knowledge, and that's to each individual. That's up to you. But here, you're going to learn what that keystone represents. You're going to learn what the sun is representing in that frame. You're going to learn who this divine revealer is, the grand architect of the universe. You're going to understand what all that language means. Temple teaching the royal arc is a symbolic, brother says, not a symbol to him anymore. I want to be there. I want you to be. I want for my brother what I want for myself. The symbolic zodiac where the pillars of understanding are what? The equinoxes. The apex is the point of the divine illumination, and the spiritual sun at its zenith. At its zenith. Everything we doing in life, beloved, is based on that ball of fire out there.
You know
Without
what,
that ball
brother?
of fire.
Absolutely. You know what, Dr. Powin?
Yes, sir.
You ever heard of CM Bay?
Yes, I have.
All right. Now, there's there are people who say, well, yeah, the Zodiac Constitution. CM Bay wrote the Zodiac Constitution. So now this is example of what Dr. Powin is saying, that and also what I'm saying of how I have learned to go deep underneath the surface.
That's right.
So I said, CM Bay didn't write no Zodiac Constitution. I said, I know what they're calling it. I know what people out of their mouth are calling it. I know what he called it. It can't be the Zodiac Constitution because you say he wrote it. The Zodiac Constitution is in the sky. Hear me out, my brothers. You see how I just want you to know this is what Dr. Powin is talking about. Going deep under the surface.
That's right.
Etymology has helped me with this.
That's right.
Said Zodiac Constitution. Said Zodiac Constitution.
That's right.
The Zodiac is a band of a grouping, a band of 12 grouping of stars.
That's right.
I said CM Bay didn't write that.
No, he did not.
It's like CM Bay didn't write that. All right. CM Bay didn't write that. So I said, Now, another thing, another point about going surface, going underneath the surface.
Right.
Yeah. See, when the 5-pointed star is when the 5-pointed star is pointed downward, it represents evil or represents distress. I said, oh no. I said, once again, going beneath the surface. And my Howard Venus and Moon rule book, it doesn't start. It starts with 1 point. So it can't. That is a secondary meaning. That is not the primary meaning. Etymology again.
Etymology, yes, sir.
Primary meaning, secondary meaning,
Yes, sir.
surface meaning, subsurface meaning. And once I understood these concepts about subsurface, I said, ooh, subsurface meaning. Oh, so the surface meaning or secondary meaning, the point pointing downward, but that's not the primary meaning. Because I know that it begins with 1 point every 584 days. The sun transitions between the earth and the sun. 1 point. 584 days later, transitions the earth transitions between the sun and earth and the sun. 2nd point. Then third point, 4th point. There, it starts with 1 point. It doesn't start with 5 points.
That's
so right. I know it. So it comes. So once I understood that, I said, "Oh, that's secondary. That's right. That is surface meaning. That's not subsurface."
It's a symbol of us, of man himself. But it was written here first.
There you go, doctor.
As above, so below.
So below.
There's a scripture that sticks out of my mind as you were describing it, if I may, in Revelation, in the Biblical Codex, in the book of Revelation, it says, it talks about a woman clothed in the sun with 12 stars in her crown and the moon at her feet. But, you know, we hear that and we're looking for a woman clothed in the sun. We're looking for the physical representation, but it's the sun in Virgo. At a time of year, which is late August, between late August and mid-September, when you will see the moon at the foot of Virgo, and you will see another. Hello? Oh, you went out for a minute.
No, I didn't go. It was he had the screen. Well, we good. All right.
Oh, okay. And we will see the 12 stars at the crown. You will see the stars in the crown. You will see all of that which is written in your book right here in the sky, right above you. In the Quran, if you're a Muslim and you read Quran, by the star when it sets, your companion errs not, nor does he deviate. What star? Sirius. Sirius. He is the Lord, the Quran says, he is the Lord, the Rab of Sirius. He is the Lord of Sirius. That's written. So when we take our minds away from the mystical place sometime, and let's come over here to the mathematical place where we can actually do measurements and calculations and find out where we are in this realm. And then we can see how it reflects on the physical reality. The 2 pillars representing duality. Duality. Boaz and Jachin. Left and right. Male, female. The Ida and the Pingala Nadis. The 7 stones between the mirror, the 7 chakras or seals along the spine. This is why the Quran says we raise up the salat. It doesn't say make salat, make a prayer. It says raise up the salat. Where are you raising it up from? It's coming from the root, coming to the crown. All of this is written here, though. It's there. You just don't know what you're looking at, beloved, and this is why I'm trying to urge you. Get the text. I know you've had many people on, brother, but I wanna push this because I know what it's doing for me. Then when I crack this open in my studies, because I might fill this table with 12 books, you know, and my computer here so I can, get busy, as they say, and
You
they used
sound
to
like
say.
me.
Yeah, but I need to have material that I trust. See, you can't trust everybody's words that they write. Just because it's in a book don't mean you can trust it. I've read many texts that want to lead me into some foolishness through sneaky language. Hey, you worshiping a spook. Hey, you worshiping anything outside of yourself. That ain't wise. So you think about that. You can worship the divine, but the divine flows between you and me. There's no separation. You can't show me where the divine begins or ends. Where does he begin? Where does he end? You said God is at the center. What does that mean? What does that mean? The divine is absolute. That's like saying electricity is right here. Electricity is everywhere. You can't define a particular place, but you can measure it. You can measure it. And that's what these instruments allow us to do. Measure time. To measure time. The keystone at the top represents or reflects the Anjna chakra. The Anjna chakra. What in our community they say is the third eye. Or the crown. The crown. The Sahasrara. Center. The gateway to divine light. I would teach meditations, and some of the students would say, Milana, show us how to open our third eye. And I say, well, you didn't start at your root. You don't start here. You start between the genitals and the anus. That's where the root chakra is. And you open there. You begin the practice of opening there. There's a form of yoga called yoga that is really a yoga of the mind. And in this yoga, if you would, we are taught that the residue of creation is in the coex for all humans. There's a residue there. And when we use what is called, this one brother just wrote a book on this, one fellow just wrote a book on this, but piezoelectricity, or the piezoelectric effect, and how we move the energy up the spinal column to allow it to flow up into the crown chakra, into the brain stem, to move that fluid up and down, to control the movements of those fluids, allow things to open for us within our being. But you said, brother, what does that got to do with the book? Well, these things have to be done on time. What's the title of this book? The Masonic Compass and Square and Their Connection to Measurement and Time Keeping. Time keeping. Some people out here are saying there's no such thing as time. We get too metaphysical sometimes. Time is measurement.
Yeah, I've
Time is
heard that
measurement.
too, Doc. I heard that
Yeah.
there's that and that and you know what it was, Doc? Let me tell you my once again indoctrination. I repeated that. I was like everybody else.
Yeah, I did
Where I
too.
where I repeated it, I'm no better than anybody. I was a
Yes,
Paul
sir.
Parrot too.
Yes, sir.
I,
Yes,
I was
sir.
a Paul Parrot,
Yes,
where
sir.
I repeated that same. There's no such
That's
thing as
right.
time. But once again, etymology. I have to go back to etymology because the etymology helped really spark critical thinking, like deep
Mm.
critical thinking for me. Where, like I said, I was so obsessed, wanted to know the origin of everything, every word, every concept, every thought, everything. I was obsessed. I'm dead serious. I was obsessed. But in that obsession, it my I was able to become so focused on subsurface meaning and understanding and thought. And where I began to question everything. So it wasn't my obsession was not a bad thing.
Right.
You know, so I had to revisit that of this no such thing as time. And then as I grew into the understanding of astronomy a few years later, I said, that doesn't I can't buy that.
Right.
Because the sun, the watch, the sundial. That's based on the movement of the sun, the earth revolving us. So that's a sundial. That ties to. I said, there's no such thing as time. We got the lunar calendar, the solar calendar. We got Sirius, the dog star, the Egyptian. I said, it's Venus, the Venus calendar. What do you mean there's no such thing as time? Like, what is that? Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, so I didn't. That doesn't.
That's a pseudo teaching, and like you, we've all been impregnated with it, and now it's time for us to eliminate that waste from our vocabulary because it's inaccurate.
Yeah, it's inaccurate. Accurate. Yeah. And you're just repeating it. Then you ask somebody to explain it, and all they're gonna do. This is what they're gonna do. Ask someone to explain it. This is what they're gonna do. So and so said.
Right. So and so said. Exactly
So and
right.
so said. We have to rise above that.
That's right.
We have to rise above. We cannot pass. My brothers and sisters, please hear me. Please hear me. We cannot pass that to our children.
We cannot.
My brothers and sisters, please hear me.
Right, brother.
We cannot pass so and so said down to our children. So if I use the children, maybe I can connect with some people, but maybe not.
That's right.
We cannot pass that down to our children.
That's right. You're right, brother. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely correct. Time began when we began to calculate our own existence. When we became aware of it, that's what we call time. Not that it did not exist prior to that, but when we became aware, we began calculating our existence on this planet since the very beginning. And we've used, as you said, the sun, the moon, the stars. We've had this in front of us. So someone telling you that there is no time is someone that is out of time. The Piscean age was 2,160 years. The age of Taurus, the age of Aquarius, is which we are just at the tip of entering, will last for 2,160 years. That's time, and that's calculating. You're going to see new things that you've never seen before manifest in that time frame. I'm not telling you what's going to happen. I'm just telling you that something's going to take place over the next 2,160 years. I won't be here physically to see the end of that, but I know it's coming based on the calculation of time. Based on the calculation of how this earth is moving through the ecliptic, circumventing the sun every 364 and 1/4 days. Linear or circular time, however we want to count it, 64 or 65. Around that time frame, we are moving around our star. Our star. The sun is a star. It's a star. And it rises. We're not rising and setting physically. The earth is going around it. Right? But it's a star. And you said we don't believe in the stars. Without a star, you couldn't live. We would have no vegetation. We would have no water. We would have no light, no vitamins, nothing. The star feeds us. Everything that we consume on this earth is because of that star. Am I right or wrong, brother?
You absolutely right. And once again, when people say they don't believe in the star, they're all they're doing is parroting. So because they don't know the time that stars are used for calculating time. They don't use that. They don't know that stars, the Big Dipper, the
Right,
Navy,
right,
the
right.
Navy, the Navy uses the Big Dipper for navigation. The North Star, the North Star, all right, is used for in the Navy. It's a navigational star. The
Mm-hmm.
North Star is a navigational star. So
That's
they
right.
don't know that. It's
Mm-hmm.
a lack of knowledge
That's
because
right.
someone who knows this, with which I speak and which you've been speaking, would never say, "I don't believe in the stars." They would never say that. They don't.
Mm.
They would never say that because that's how ships. That's how you determine where you astrolabes,
That's
sextiles.
true.
All right.
Yes, yes.
The movie Escape with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone,
Mm-hmm.
and they were the prison was a ship. The prison was on a ship, and there was sailed in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So the Sylvester Stallone's partner bamboozled them because he's trying to take over the business. So
Mm-hmm.
Sylvester Stallone was part of the partner of the company, and he would go and he would actually go into prison, right? That he built that he built the plan, that he built they built the security systems for prisons. So they would actually go into prison and escape to show that the current prison system was flawed. That's how they would get clients. So
Right.
his partner shim-shammed him and got
Wow.
him on the and the warden was part of that. Well, anyway, the escape what was is that Sylvester Stallone's character built a handmade sextile or
Mm-hmm.
astrolabe, and
Mm-hmm.
then the Muslim brother he gave it to the Muslim brother. The Muslim brother told the warden that he wanted to go above the deck outside so Allah can see his face. That he wants to pray to Allah and he wants Allah to see his face. So,
Mm-hmm.
but that was not why he went. He went to determine their location.
That's
That's
right.
we don't believe
That's
in
right.
stars. We don't believe in
That's
stars. We
right.
don't believe in
That's
stars.
right.
He went.
Right.
He had the
Right.
astrolabe or sextile, handmade, and the guard was behind him. He would look back, and he would be able to determine by determine time keeping measurement. All right, or calculating where that location, so they could
Right.
send that information out to be rescued.
Right. Right.
It's just a
Right.
lack of knowledge. So someone says that
Right.
all that is, my brothers and sisters,
Right.
is a lack of knowledge.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Well, this is how we navigated the oceans. This is how we navigated the deserts. You know, by the stars. By the stars, we knew where to go. You know, there's in the Arabic language, there's different words for stars, right? So you have Kalkab, that's a star, right? And you have uh Kalwa. No, not Kalwa. Uh
Amulet. I said Amulet is one, I believe. That's like
mhm.
um
in in these stars, in these names for stars, let me pull it up here. One second.
so those who are listening, watching us, let people know that we're on. Share. Don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't done so. To get the Masonic Compass of Square and the connection to measurement and timekeeping, go to mooresandmasonry.org. It's been strolling across the stream for the past hour and 37 minutes, as well as my other books, Moors and Masonry, Part 1, Moors and
Mm-hmm.
Masonry, Part 2, How Venus and Moon Rule. You go right to mooresandmasonry.org. Dr. Powers, you are doing a fantastic job, brother.
Well, thank you,
I would
beloved. Thank
definitely,
you.
I definitely appreciate you.
I appreciate you too, brother. I really do. let me share this with you. Um, I took a course uh, many years ago. I've taken Arabic over the years in many different terms in my life to improve my understanding of the Quran, but also to improve my understanding of cosmology as I was studying Picatrix. Now, the term Najm and Qalqab, these are two words used for stars in the Quran, for those who study Quran, right? Najm is a star that is bright and never changes. This correlates to what you were teaching, brother, just now about that movie. Listen to the word Najm. There's a surah in Quran 53 called Al Najm, right? And Najm, the star. But this is a particular kind of star. Not just a star, it's a particular kind of star. See? This is a star that doesn't appear to flicker. It can guide you, and when you look at it, it is always visible to the eye. Sirius is such a star. It's Najm. See? It never flickers, it's always there. Now, the second word that I like to look at for the word star is Kawkab. 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 Now, this represents a flickering star. A flickering star. It's the song they used to sing to children, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Uh, one second.
Yeah, I have that in the book too. And that refers to
Yeah.
Sirius, the dog star.
Yes, sir. One second. I just had to
Yeah,
respond to
so
my
once
brother.
again, don't forget to hit the like button, share this video. I know we're coming to the end. This is some good stuff. Man, he's the brother. And I love the fact, Dr. Powell, that you put it in your own way. You're presenting it in your own way. You're making it your own, which you have to
Yeah,
do.
because this is how I teach it to the students. I just can't take your book and just say, well, Brother Abdullah said this, that, da, 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 da. I make a whole lesson plan. And then I build from it. Because when I
Yep.
say students, I mean people are actually giving me money to teach them something, right?
Mhm.
So I have to be able to give it to them in a way that is, applicable to their understanding and the origins where they're coming from in the world. And I tell them, hey, I don't know if anyone, I know one brother did buy the book from you, I believe,
Yeah.
but there are other brothers and sisters that I'm sending, you know. And not everybody's ready to spend $50 on the book. Everybody's not aware there yet, but they're getting there. So please be patient with them. But let me share this with you about Kalka, because you talk about stars in this book, and there are many people who are watching this tonight. Uh, you got to understand that these things are not, as we keep talking about delving. You have to get past the physical, the surface. I mean, you have to get past the surface. Kalka
Yeah.
is a flickering star. You look sometimes, you can see it, and sometimes you can't see it. It's flickering. It is not reliable for navigation. See, these are the basic understanding of these stars. So now the planets. It is difficult to say whether these are referred to in the Quran as the same exact meaning that is given in the heavenly bodies in the present day. The planets do not have their own light. The planets do not have their own light. They revolve around the sun. Earth being one of them, being one of the planets, of course, while one may presume that others exist elsewhere, the only ones known are those in our solar system. Those are known by us. Now, the Quran would seem to be designated these to be the word kalkib plural or kalkib plural without stating their number. I'm making this point for a reason. Bear with me, okay?
Mhm.
So, Yusuf in the Quran, or Joseph's dream, Psalm 12, he refers to 11 stars, but the description is by definition an imaginary one. 11 stars. A good definition of the meaning of the word Kalkib in the Quran seems to have been given in a very famous verse, the eminently spiritual nature of its deeper meaning stands forth, and it moreover the I'm reading from a lesson that I have here. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. The similitude of his light is as if there were a niche and within it a luminary. The luminary is in a glass, the glass as it were a planet glittering like a pearl. See? Here the subject is the projection of light into a body that reflects it like glass and gives it the glitter or flicker of a pearl, like a planet that is lit by the sun. This is the only explanatory detail referring to the word to be found in the Quran. Now, I'm saying this to say, when I'm looking in this book and I'm studying scripture and I see this verse, it talks about a planet. Oh, let me get Brother Abdullah Mosi Bey's book. I want to understand what a planet is. Oh, let me get Brother's book. It says a star. What kind of star is that? See, it says an age. Oh, an age. I saw that in here. An age is 2,160 years. Wow, look at that. Look at this. The great year. The great year. You can divide that in 6,400 and 80 years by 4. You have a great year. Look at all this going on in here. But if you just look at the text as some religious text, you're not going to get that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying put your religion away, but when you read these books are coded. Bible, Quran. You have to have a legend. A legend helps you to understand a map. Right? Am I right, brother? A legend is not just someone who we think is famous. A legend is a key to help you understand a map. And when you read these texts, you're reading a map of history and prophecy. But if you don't know what none of these words really mean and you're just going off your ethereal ideas, I advise you to buy the book. I advise you to buy the book because it's time. It's dealing with time from the beginning to the end. It's dealing with birthdays from the beginning to the end. And Moses begot this one, and Jesse begot that one. Those are birthdays. That's time. Those are generations. And all of that has meaning. And we missing it. We go to Bible study and we want to sit around and say, read a verse and we all discuss it. But if 12 people are sitting around discussing a verse and none of the 12 really have any idea of etymology or astronomy or zoology or any of these sciences, then you're just going off your own ideas of what the Creator wanted you to know. You don't really know. And that's the word belief. See, you're a believer. And that's okay. But you're not to stay that. We're not to stay in belief. We are to grow into knowledge. I don't know, brother. I think I've said enough for the evening.
You sure? You sure have, brother. You sure have.
I
Uh,
think I said enough for the evening. I think I've directed them in the right direction. I like to come back sometime, do another part with you. Maybe we'll do the other book. But
all right.
this book here, brother, for those who like my posts and what I present in the Asiatic Magi readings, you need to get this book because if you're looking to study deeper in this word, this is the way to do it. This is the way to do it. To really know what you're reading, you know what the planets are, you know what the alignments are, you know what the angles are. This is not a class on cosmology, so I'm not going to give you all the details, but I'm going to tell you where you can be a good student if you really want to grow. Because my personal opinion is everyone does not deserve to just be given information. And I know you can go on YouTube and you Google, I said this to a brother the other day. The first command in the Quran is read in the name of thy Lord. It did not say watch YouTube in the name of thy Lord. It did not say watch a video in the name of thy Lord. It said ikra, read.
Ikra.
And
Yeah.
so if we're going to read, then we have to have material to read. And the universe is the main material, but until we can grow to understand what that is, we need brothers who already know that and wrote it in a book like this book to help us get to that point. And this is what this text has helped me a great deal in my work, in my cosmology readings, when I talk to a brother or a sister and to understand what is going on in their life. Uh, you know, the sun in Cancer, for today, the sun is in Cancer right now.
Yeah.
Hmm? The sun is in Cancer. And what does that
Yeah.
mean? Is it someone's getting sick, they're gonna have cancer? This is the thoughts of people having. What does that mean? Well, the sun is in Cancer. Cancer is a constellation. And over the
Now,
course of the next 365 days, the sun will pass through all 12 of those constellations,
now the
including
question is:
Moorish.
was the sun always? Did the
Mm,
sun? Did the summer solstice sun always entered Cancer? Always. Did the summer solstice sun?
mm-hmm.
Did the sun enter into Cancer on June 21st or on the summer solstice? Always. The answer
No.
is no. It's in
The
the
answer
book.
is no. It's
You
no.
have what's
And it's in
known
the
as
book.
the vernal equinox. You have known as precession of the equinoxes.
It's exactly right. And when you go in the book and you learn the precession of the equinoxes, you will understand that it changes 1 degree every year. Now you imagine 1 degree a year over 2,160 years, how much of a degree has changed. Even the pole star has changed since the time of Isa ibn Maryam sallallahu
Yeah.
alayhi wasallam.
Yes.
You know, all the stars, everything is different. And this is why I was saying earlier, Brother Abdullah, when we get fully into Aquarius, there'll be a new map in front of us. There'll be a different view, one that you and I have never seen. We've never been there, not in our
Mhm.
lifetime. And when they see it, they will write of it. And if it's possible for you and I to visit this realm again, we'll see it. you know.
Absolutely.
So, but when we talk about the sun is nurturing Cancer, the focus turns inward toward ancestry and emotional foundations. See, sacred duty to the soul's inner home. Cancer governs the past, ancestral memory, mother line, and the seat of intuition. See, the seat of intuition. Think about how powerful that is for many people that say they're empaths and intuits. Uh, Look at where you're at right now in space and time. Look at where you are right now. When paired with, we can even go further into the moon's phase. You know, what is the moon phase in? How does that operate? So every day when I talk about this online and I share this with people, I'm not just posting these things to be posting ideas just to say fancy stuff to make it sound good. I'm trying to spark your mind. I want to spark something, and I might not spark everyone. It might be one person in a million. Who cares? As long as someone is quickened by what I'm sharing with them, they will do the rest. They will do the rest. Yeah. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Brother Abdullah. I want to thank you for your time and opportunity. If anyone is interested in what I've shared with you today, from my perspective, please come to our website,
Yeah. Give your information out, brother. Yes.
www.powertonsheamaru.com. And on that page, you will be able to see all the things I offer as far as readings are concerned,
Can you put that
public
in the chat?
speaking.
Can you
I
write? Can
sure
you put?
can.
Yeah.
I
Put that
sure
in the chat
can.
while we're on live. Yeah. But yeah. Put that in the chat. Yeah. Yeah. Give your put your what's your website? The school, how they can contact you. The school. I think they will get they'll be able to go to the website and be able to get information about the school.
Oh, absolutely. Everything's on
Yeah.
the website. I'm going to put it in
Right.
here
Good.
for you right now.
Yep. Right in the chat. Support the brother.
Do the
The
same.
the school is the Asiatic. What's it called? What's the
The
name of
Temple
it?
of the Asiatic
The
Magi.
temple of the Asiatic
The
Magi.
Temple of the Asiatic Magi. And I utilize the word temple not from a religious perspective because I was always taught through the teachers, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that a temple is a place where you go to learn. Uh, it is not a place necessarily, from our perspective, a place where you go to pray. That's why we have mosques and masjids, because that's where you go to pray. But if you want to learn, come to a temple. And this is why I named it the Temple of the Asiatic Magi, because it's a place of learning. It's a place of learning. And I want uh, so deeply for our people to learn and to know and to grow. And I say all our people, and I'm not speaking of race, I'm speaking of uh, consciousness. I'm speaking of people who are ready to uh, leave.
Oh, he dropped off. All right. All right. So yes, once again, uh, the brother's putting his information into the chat. Go check him out. Go to his website, Dr. Pow. Go to his website. Uh, he's done a wonderful job to once again to get the Masonic Compass Square and the connection to measurement and timekeeping, as well as my other books. Go to Moors and Mainstreet.org. It's been strolling across the stream for the past hour and 52 minutes. I definitely want to thank Brother Hank. Oh, you're back. All right. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, I'm
Good.
back, brother.
All
I'm
right.
back.
Great. All right. You got the floor, brother.
You hit me with that 52 again. I was like, wow, a 50, another 52.
All right.
No, no, no. I didn't hang up. I just hit the wrong button there.
Right. And Hank brought you back. Good. Yes.
Yeah, so I just wanted to I
Did
wanted
you
to
put
give
that
you
in the
that.
chat? Yeah, I
I
was. Yeah, I
did put
was
the website in the chat.
good.
You
All
can
right.
get all the information you need from there. If anything I can add some insight into your life, I'm here to do that. I'm here to do that, to share with you. Uh, I'm not that expensive, but I do charge for the readings.
Yeah.
So I
As you
don't put a
should.
time limit on it. When I begin to do, I get your birth date, I get your time and place of birth, and I give you a good reading. And sometimes it takes a couple of hours. Uh, and but when you leave me, you are enlightened and enlivened, and you know the book of
Mm,
yourself a bit better than you did before you came into my presence. And that's what I'm here to do, just to share with you about yourself things that you may not know about yourself yet, and you will know them through the calculation of yourself. Hmm? So learn all about yourself, okay? For she knows all about you. Thank you, brother. May Allah
brother,
bless
thank
you
you
and
again.
keep you.
Yes. Thank you all.
Yes.
I want to thank the audience for their attentiveness, their support. Once again, to support Dr. Powington, his website is in the chat. To purchase my books, once again, go to mooresandmasonry.org. It's just, brother Hank, I want to thank you again for this platform, for your support for the past year and a half. I've known Brother Hank for a while. Hank's been in this involved in the Moorish movement since the 80s, and I didn't even know that until he was talking about
Mm.
Sister Denise Wilson Ill.
Wow.
Back out in Florida, East Ely
Wow.
Moors, Sister Denise Wilson Ill. I remember her in the early 90s. I said,
Hmm.
wow, Hank, you knew Sister Denise Wilson Ill? All right. Yeah. So
Blessings.
thank you again.
Yes, sir.
Until next week, we will have, next week is the second. Who's next week? We have, I can't recall who's next week. Oh, wow. So, and Quasi's in August. Oh, yes, Cosmo Ill. Grand Sheik, Grand Sheik Cosmo Ill. He will be with us next week for the second time. Grand Sheik Cosmo Ill will be with us for the second time. He's next week. And then the week after that, we'll have Brother Sirius Ill back for doing he'll be doing part 2. And he actually, Brother Sirius, Dr. Powin, he actually did a book review last week. No,
I read it.
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks
I read
ago.
it. I read his review. It was very nice. It's
Well,
very
he
good.
actually he was live. He was actually
Yes,
live 2 weeks
I,
ago.
I,
You saw
I
it?
remember. I did. I did. I did.
Yeah,
I
two
was
weeks
impressed
ago.
as well. Yes, sir. I was extremely impressed, and I will be on next week. Well, it's hard for me to be on Monday nights, but
Right,
I
right.
will listen to the replay.
You listen
I
to the
always
replay.
listen to the replay because it is beneficial to my studies as well. I love to see from other brothers' perspective,
Oh,
and
and I have sisters on too. So just giving a rundown.
yeah.
Cosmo Ill on the 14th, the 21st. We'll have our series Ill for part 2 of the matriarchal Venus book,
Hmm.
matriarchal studies. We'll have July 28th. July 28th. Sister Shantae Lene Harford of the
Hmm.
birth of the nation of the Shivat nation.
Hmm.
Nations of Shivat, and she'll be on the 28th of
Hmm.
July. On August 4th, Quasi Ill will be doing part 2 of his presentation. Quasi Ill of Tribe Jima, and on the after that, the 11th, I'll have the Reggie Mitchell out of New York was just one of Luisa Flores' contacts. He'll be on. And then the third week, I can't recall who I have on that third Saturday. Oh, yeah, Sister Akasha. Sister Akasha Ill will be the third Monday in August. And I'm
Hmm.
looking to get, also, reach out to Sister Filet, uh, Sister Filet, the founder of the Million Woman March.
I
The
was
founder of
there.
the Million Woman March
I was there.
she
Hmm.
will be with me for the first time on Moorish Monday, but not the first time. We brought her on, I guess, the Moroccan Post School of Government International Law in the fall of 2002. So I reached out to Dr. Filet. I reached out to Dr. Filet, and she's going to see if she's going to check our schedule, because I have the last Monday of August open, and she'll let me know what day. If she can't do the last Monday of August, and she'll let me know what day what Monday she'll be able to do in September. So that's Dr. Filet. She is the founder of the Million Woman March. That march was held in Philadelphia in 1997. So I'm looking forward to bringing her on for the first time on Moorish Monday. I did reach out.
Yes, sir.
I've known her since 1997.
Wow. 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 Well, I
Mm-hmm.
want to say I'm going to close with this statement from me. Stay tuned to brother Abdullah El Talib Moshi Bey. Stay tuned to what he's doing. Go on his website, get those books as I urge you to increase your study, and keep an ear open for my podcast coming soon, where we'll be going further into the temple of the Asiatic Magi.
You'll let me
Uh,
know, and I'll let them know.
I'll let
Once
you know.
you post on my face, you should let me know. You post it, I'll always share it, and I'll also let the audience know.
My
Yes.
brother. Thank you
Now
so much. And may
thank
Allah
you.
bless you and keep you. Have a great
Absolutely.
evening.
You
Salam
too.
alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Peace, everyone. Peace, Brother Hank. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you again.
Peace, brother.